In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a humble shepherd named Rohan. He spent his days tending to his flock, leading them through green pastures and guarding them from harm. Rohan had no wealth, no family, and no grand aspirations, just a quiet life and the company of his sheep. One day, while resting under a banyan tree, Rohan noticed a raven struggling to untangle its leg from a snare. Compassionate by nature, he carefully freed the bird. To his astonishment, the raven spoke. "Thank you, kind shepherd. I owe you my life. As a token of gratitude, I'll guide you to a place where you can find answers to life's deepest questions. But the path will test your heart." Rohan, curious yet cautious, agreed to follow the raven. That evening, they reached the edge of a vast desert. There, they encountered a merchant sitting by a broken cart filled with goods. "Where are you heading, shepherd?" the merchant asked. "I'm seeking the sage of the horizon," Rohan replied. The merchant sighed. "If you meet the sage, could you ask him something for me? I've traveled far and wide trading goods, yet I feel empty. What must I do to find true fulfillment?" Rohan promised to ask and continued on his journey. The next day, as Rohan and the raven ventured deeper into the desert, they came across a wilted tree. Beneath its withered branches sat a woman with tears streaming down her face. "Where are you going, shepherd?" she asked. "To meet the sage of the horizon," Rohan replied. The woman pleaded, "Please ask him why my garden has stopped blooming. No matter how much I water it, it remains barren. It was once my greatest joy." Rohan agreed and pressed onward. On the third day, Rohan reached the base of a towering mountain. At its foot, he found an old blacksmith, his hands calloused and his face weary. "Where are you headed, young man?" "To find the sage of the horizon," Rohan replied. The blacksmith said, "I have labored all my life, forging weapons for others. But I feel burdened by the harm my work has caused. Ask the sage how I can make amends." Once more, Rohan agreed and climbed the mountain, finally reaching the sage's dwelling. The sage of the horizon was a serene figure with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of the ages. After listening to Rohan's account, the sage said, "I will answer 3 questions. Choose wisely." Rohan realized he had 4 questions: the merchant's, the woman's, the blacksmith's, and his own. After much thought, he decided to sacrifice his own question and ask on behalf of the others. The sage nodded and answered. For the merchant, to find fulfillment, he must give freely to those in need rather than hoarding his wealth. For the woman, her garden will bloom again when she stops watering it with sorrow and starts nurturing it with hope and joy. For the blacksmith, he can atone by forging tools that build and heal instead of weapons that destroy. Rohan thanked the sage and began his journey home, carrying the wisdom of the sage back to those in need. The first stop was the blacksmith. When Rohan shared the sage's advice, the blacksmith wept with relief. He destroyed his old forge and began crafting farming tools and instruments. In gratitude, he gifted Rohan a finely crafted staff. Next, Rohan returned to the woman. When he told her the sage's words, her face lit up. She began to tend her garden with a renewed spirit, singing as she worked. Within weeks, the garden flourished, and she gifted Rohan a basket of fresh fruits. Finally, Rohan visited the merchant. Upon hearing the sage's guidance, the merchant started distributing his goods to the poor, finding joy in their smiles. He offered Rohan a bag of gold, which the shepherd humbly declined. Rohan returned to his village, his heart filled with peace. Though he never asked the sage his own question, he found his answer along the way. By helping others, he discovered that life's greatest treasures are kindness, gratitude, and purpose. The raven returned one last time, perching on Rohan's shoulder. "You passed the trials of selflessness," it said, "and in doing so, you found what you were truly seeking." This story reminds us that even in the face of personal struggles, putting others first can lead to unexpected blessings. When we let go of our own desires to help those in need, we find fulfillment in the simplest acts of kindness.